Which one of the following statements is true? A. Current flows in a capacitive circuit only while ions are permitted to flow through the dielectric material. B. Current flows in a capacitive circuit only while the charge on the plates is large enough to force the dielectric to conduct electrons. C. Current can flow in a capacitive circuit but not through the dielectric material itself. D. Power returned to the circuit is always greater than the power absorbed. The correct answer is: current can flow in a capacitive circuit but not through the dielectric material itself. What is the total resistance of a series circuit that contains 4 resistors having values of 220 watts, 470 watts, 1 watt and 1.2 watts? A. 692.2 ohm. B. 844.5 ohm. C. 3890 ohm. D. 1234 ohm. The correct answer is 692.2 ohm. Holes act like: A. atoms. B. crystals. C. negative charges. D. positive charges. The correct answer is positive charges. How many valence electrons does a silicon atom have? A. 0. B. 1. C. 2. D. 4. The correct answer is 4. Reducing the amount of current through an inductor. A. Reduces the value of inductance by 1/2. B. Multiplies the value of inductance by 4. C. Multiplies the value of inductance by 2. D. Has no effect on the inductance. The correct answer is has no effect on the inductance. Which one of the following statements best applies to a series RLC circuit? A. The voltage waveform for each component always has the same amplitude and phase as the applied voltage. B. The current waveform for each component always has the same amplitude and phase as the applied current. C. All of the above. D. The sum of the current is always less than the applied current. The correct answer is the current waveform for each component always has the same amplitude and phase as the applied current. When applying a square waveform to a capacitor, the circuit tends to: A. Peak the voltage and round off the current waveforms. B. Peak the current and round off the voltage waveforms. C. Round off both the voltage and current waveforms. D. Peak both the voltage and current waveforms. The correct answer is peak the current and round off the voltage waveforms. Which one of the following properties of a magnetic circuit can be directly compared to current in an electrical circuit? A. Number of lines of force. B. Flux density. C. Reluctance. D. Magnetomotive force. The correct answer is number of lines of force. Who invented the first junction transistor? A. Smith. B. Gomes. C. Fisher. D. Shockley. The correct answer is Shockley. When a series RLC circuit is operating at its resonant frequency, A. Capacitive reactance is greater than the inductive reactance. B. Inductive reactance is greater than the capacitive reactance. C. Inductive reactance is equal to the capacitive reactance. D. The difference between inductive and capacitive reactance is equal to the resistance. The correct answer is inductive reactance is equal to the capacitive reactance. Which one of the following equations most directly leads to the resistance of an ordinary household light bulb, assuming that you know the power and voltage rating? A. Re2P. B. PPR. C. PE2R. D. IPE. The correct answer is Re2P. The total capacitive reactance of a parallel capacitor circuit is A equal to the sum of the individual capacitive reactance values. B equal to the sum of the individual capacitance values. C equal to the source voltage divided by total current. D less than the capacitance value of the smallest capacitor. The correct answer is equal to the source voltage divided by total current. Thevenin theorem replaces a complicated circuit facing a load by an A. Ideal voltage source and parallel resistor. B. Ideal current source and parallel resistor. C. Ideal voltage source and series resistor. D. Ideal current source and series resistor. The correct answer is ideal voltage source and series resistor. What kind of device is a diode? A. Bilateral. B. Linear. C. Nonlinear. D. Unipolar. The correct answer is nonlinear. Which one of the following statements applies to common non-rechargeable flashlight batteries? A. Common flashlight batteries are secondary wet cell batteries. B. Common flashlight batteries are primary wet cell batteries. C. Common flashlight batteries are primary dry cell batteries. D. Common flashlight batteries are secondary dry cell batteries. The correct answer is common flashlight batteries are primary dry cell batteries. The total inductive reactance of a parallel inductor circuit is A. Equal to the sum of the individual inductive reactance values. B. Equal to the sum of the individual inductance values. C. Equal to the source voltage divided by total current. D. Less than the inductance value of the smallest inductor. The correct answer is equal to the source voltage divided by total current. A step-down transformer has turns ration of 5:1. If the primary voltage is 120 Vrms, what is the secondary voltage? A. 12 V. B. 18 V. C. 24 V. D. 30 V. The correct answer is 24 V. Norton's theorem replaces a complicated circuit facing a load by an A. Ideal voltage source and parallel resistor. B. Ideal current source and parallel resistor. C. Ideal voltage source and series resistor. D. Ideal current source and series resistor. The correct answer is ideal current source and parallel resistor. Which one of the following statements regarding AC circuits is correct? A. Current and voltage are in phase through an inductor. B. Current leads the voltage through an inductor. C. Current lags the voltage through an inductor. D. All of the above. The correct answer is current lags the voltage through an inductor. Doubling the operating frequency of a capacitive circuit. A. Doubles the amount of a capacitive reactance. B. Has no effect on the capacitive reactance. C. Cuts the capacitive reactance in half. D. Multiplies the capacitive reactance by 6.28. The correct answer is cuts the capacitive reactance in half. The net charge of a neutral copper atom is A. 0. B. 1. C. 1. D. 4. The correct answer is 1. Which one of the following statements is true for the voltage in a parallel RL circuit? A. The voltage always has the same amplitude and phase for every part of the circuit. B. The total voltage is equal to the sum of the voltages across the resistance and inductance. C. The total voltage lags the total current by less than 90. D. The total voltages is less than the sum of the voltages across the resistance and inductance. The correct answer is the voltage always has the same amplitude and phase for every part of the circuit. A low-pass filter. A. Passes lower frequency signals and reduces higher frequency signals. B. Passes higher frequency signals and reduces lower frequency signals. C. Has no effect on AC signals. D reduces the level of all frequencies by a significant amount. The correct answer is passes lower frequency signals and reduces higher frequency signals. What is one important thing transistors do? A. Emit light. B. Amplify weak signals. C. Regulate voltage. D. Rectify line voltage. The correct answer is amplify weak signals. At room temperature, an intrinsic silicon crystal acts approximately like A. battery. B. A conductor. C. An insulator. D. A piece of copper wire. The correct answer is an insulator. What is the algebraic sum of this series of values 2, 3, 6, 4? A. 6. B. 3. C. 0. D. 2. The correct answer is 3. When operating below its resonant frequency, a parallel RLC circuit has the characteristics of A. Parallel RL circuit. B. Parallel RC circuit. C. Parallel RLC circuit operated above its resonant frequency. D. Purely resistive circuit. The correct answer is parallel RL circuit. What causes the depletion layer? A. Doping. B. Recombination. C. Barrier potential. D. Ions. The correct answer is barrier potential. Which one of the following statements most accurately reflects the nature of AC power? A. The current in an AC circuit flows in one direction but changes value periodically. B. The current in an AC circuit flows in one direction at a steady level. C. The current in an AC circuit changes direction periodically. D. The current in an AC circuit flows in two directions at the same time. The correct answer is the current in an AC circuit changes direction periodically. A step-up transformer has a turns ratio of 1:4. If the line voltage is 115 Vrms, what is the peak secondary voltage? A. 700 V. B. 707 V. C. 651 V. D. 208 V. The correct answer is 651 V. Which one of the following principles best describes the basic operation of a generator? A. Like magnetic poles repel, unlike poles attract. B. Current is induced in a conductor that is moving through a magnetic field. C. Like magnetic poles attract, unlike poles repel. D. Current flowing through a conductor generates a magnetic field. The correct answer is current is induced in a conductor that is moving through a magnetic field. The current gain of a transistor is defined as the ratio of the collector current to the A. Base current. B. Emitter current. C. Supply current. D. Collector current. The correct answer is base current. What is the total resistance of a parallel circuit that contains two resistors having values of 220 ohm and 470 ohm? A. 220 ohm. B. 150 ohm. C. 445 ohm. D. 690 ohm. The correct answer is 150 ohm. The equivalent of 1 kV is A. 1.00 V. B. 1000 V. C. 100 MV. D. 1000 MV. The correct answer is 1000 V. The period of a waveform is A. The time required to complete one full cycle. B. The number of cycles completed in 1 second. C. The time required for the voltage to rise from 10 to 90 of the peak amplitude. D. Equal to 0.707 times the peak amplitude. The correct answer is the time required to complete one full cycle.